Hello everyone, Stormwind here. Today we'll be talking about a major cold air blast that's going to move into the eastern U.S. over the next couple of days, which will bring active lake effect, rain, and snow showers across the Great Lakes. We'll also be talking about a pattern change, which could lead to a severe weather setup and even some snow for parts of the Northwest and possibly in the parts of the central U.S. as well. Before we get started in this video, if you guys like weather-related content, you can subscribe to my channel. We do stuff here all the time on this channel. Plus, we'll have more updates on some of these topics over the next couple of days as well. So definitely stay tuned for more updates as well. We're going to get started with the HERB model. And we did have some severe weather over parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas yesterday, which led to some large hail with some of the storms, including one storm that produced hail was up to 3 inches in diameter, or in other words, baseball-sized hail. We're not really expecting to see some severe weather really over the next several days. There was a risk for some strong thunderstorms over parts of the central Appalachian Mountains region, but not a whole lot has happened down there today. But really, after that, not expecting a whole lot of severe weather. Almost forgot to mention this. There was actually some severe weather in parts of desert Southwest, including a tornado in, I believe, in the parts of Arizona, which is something pretty interesting as well. Um, But really, over the next several days here, conditions are not going to be favorable for severe weather in the eastern U.S. And part of the reason is we're going to have this big cold air blast that's going to move in. So as we kind of go through the overnight hours, we got quite a bit of snow that's going to be ongoing over parts of upper Michigan. That's also where we have winter storm warnings, where snowfall amounts could be up or around a foot in some places. So definitely an early season snowstorm for some folks up there. It's not going to be a widespread event. Isolated areas could see snowfall amounts that could be into winter storm territory. But this low pressure system out here, that's going to continue to deepen over the next couple of days, and it's going to kind of spin over parts of southeastern Canada over the next several days, which is going to continue to bring this cold northwest wind over parts of the Great Lakes, creating the lake effect rain and snow showers. You can see here as we continue through Monday, we got a pretty good northern wind over parts of the Midwest. Definitely could get some serious wind chills in some places. Wind chills, especially in the overnight hours, could get into the teens in some areas. And as we can see here, as this low here really just continues to stay near stationary over southeastern Canada. Check this out by Tuesday morning. You got Lake Superior really taking off, Lake Erie, and also Lake Michigan really begin to take off as well. And these are really the three lakes that's really going to produce this type of action here. But one in particular over Lake Michigan could bring some accumulating snow for possibly for parts of northern Indiana Monday night into Tuesday morning. And some of the lake effect snow may get as far south as parts of central and eastern Kentucky. It's at it's actually more common than you think that here in central and eastern Kentucky could get lake effect snow. It's definitely doable. We've seen that happen several times last winter, so it's not really a rare thing, but it's actually pretty uncommon to see it happen this time of year. So definitely some very interesting stuff. But this system will also come along with some near record cold temperatures for some areas. So that's another thing to note about this setup overall. And that could last for probably until Wednesday. Really, by that point, that system should begin to move out. But here's another way to look at uh, temperatures. This is actually temperature anomalies, and we're going to look into it by the European model. So really for the rest of Sunday, really the southeast, definitely some pleasant temperatures out there. But as we get into Monday, check out this big cold air blast. Widespread temperatures 15 to 20 degrees below normal. Those are some well below normal temperatures. Meanwhile, in the northwest, things are heating up out there, where temperatures could be 10 to 15 degrees above normal, or in some areas could be 20 to 25 degrees above normal, especially up towards Alberta and BC. And you can see here how this cold air blast really kicks into gear by Tuesday. And this is where we're going to see some of the coldest temperatures of the season for many places. That's also why we have widespread freeze warnings in a lot of areas for parts of the central and eastern U.S. Look at the tops of the Smoky Mountains, where temperatures could be 30 degrees below normal. So definitely some serious cold air. And for some areas may not get out of the 40s for highs. So that's definitely something else. I mean, imagine if this were to have been in January. I mean, that'd be a major cold air blast for January. I mean, that'd definitely be something else. But really by Wednesday and really into Thursday, things do begin to calm down. Really, the heat from the northwest does begin to move eastward into the central U.S. really by Friday and especially into Saturday. So the cooler air could stick around in the southeast for a couple more days. But at around this point here, we're starting to see a pattern change. In the northwest, things are cooling down out there. And now it's the central U.S. starting to get on some of those above normal temperatures, which that would continue to move to the east. But look by peak time heating on Sunday. Check out parts of Oklahoma and Kansas getting close to 30 degrees above normal. There's definitely something fishy that could go on in this area, and that could be some severe weather potential. And as we move into Monday, some of those above normal temperatures spread across the eastern U.S. Things don't really cool down a whole lot behind the system, or behind the cold front, which up in the Midwest, temperatures are generally about 5 to 10 degrees above normal. So it really does, right behind this cold front overall, it doesn't bring in a serious cold air blast like this one here coming up this week. But you can see here towards the 10-day period, things do begin to heat up once again. And check out Alberta and BC. I mean, temperatures 40 degrees below normal. Now, that could easily change. That's 10 days out. A lot of things could change from now till then. But here's another way to kind of look at everything. Let's check out precipitation type in MSLP. And you can see here as we move into Monday, here's our big low pressure system over parts of southern Canada. That's going to bring in lake effect rain and snow showers to the Great Lakes. That'll bring in some serious cold air. That can actually bring some much needed rain to parts of New England states. Believe it or not, parts of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island are actually in a pretty bad drought at the moment, and seeing some rain over those areas is definitely a good thing. But unfortunately, that rain may not last very long, and that's not going to kill the drought. But really, by like Thursday, I mean, check out Thursday. I mean, almost anywhere in the country is like no precipitation. The only exception would be in like parts of New York or southern Florida. Everywhere else is just almost bone dry. Isn't that something? And at this point here, this is where we're going to begin to see that pattern change. Check out the Northwest and parts of BC by Friday. Precipitation begins to move into those areas, including some snow in the higher elevations. And then by Saturday, we get this 992 millibar low to develop in southern Alberta. That could continue to move to the southeast across Montana. That's also going to bring some much needed rain and even some snow for the higher elevations of the Rocky Mountains. And then as we get into Sunday, okay, we got this big low that's over parts of Saskatchewan, if I'm correct. Actually, I could be wrong about that. I'll look it up after the video. But we get a 989 millibar low over parts of southern Canada, and we get this big southerly wind here across pretty much for the entire Midwest. It could definitely be a pretty windy day as those isobars are very close to each other. But we could see another low try to begin to develop along that cold front, which you can see there. Really by Sunday night, we get a 990 millibar low to form over parts of Minnesota. And along that cold front could be some strong to severe storms, which you can see that the European model does suggest have really anywhere from southern Wisconsin back to maybe as far southwest as the Ozarks. And you can see here by peak time heating on Monday, got a 985 millibar low over upper Michigan, and possibly for some strong severe storms over parts of the Ohio Valley. That's just one model and one solution. Let's check out the GFS model. So basically, there's a good agreement from the model guidance really over the next several days. There's not really much way of model disagreement or anything like that. But when we get to this next system, by early next week, we start to get some differences with the model guidance. So, just like the European model, get a strong storm system to move on shore into parts of the northwest and parts of southwestern Canada. And as we move to Sunday, okay, this system here is taking a little bit of a different, kind of going in a different way. Got 993 millibar low in southeastern Utah, which, if that's correct, shows a lot of snow for the higher elevations of Utah, even for parts of Montana and Colorado. And eventually by Monday, that system begins to move off the Rockies, and that system begins to deepen over parts of the Central Plains and over parts of Midwest into next Tuesday. And that could bring some severe weather, really almost to the Gulf Coast, up into parts of the Midwest, if the GFS is correct. And here's peak time heating for Tuesday. Got a 987 millibar low over parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin. And you can see here the GFS model does suggest a potential for a line of thunderstorms over parts of Illinois and maybe back as far south as western Tennessee. So there are some differences with the models. Number one, the GFS is a day faster for the European model, but that's pretty typical from the GFS model. It does have a progression bias. I likely would expect the system here to trend slower on the GFS over the next few days. But honestly, I think I'm going to be leaning towards the European model. Really, the European model doesn't have any big biases, other than the fact it likes to keep energy a little bit too far to the southwest, but it's not really showing much of any of that on this particular run. But regardless of the differences for the GFS and the European models, both of them show a strong storm system sometime early next week over parts of the Midwest. Both of those could bring the chance for severe weather over parts of the Midwest and or the Tennessee Valley and the Ohio Valley. Still some plenty of time for changes from the model guidance. Well, let's kind of look into this trough in a different way. Let's check out 500 millibar winds. You can see here, we're going to go and skip to Sunday. Here's our big trough here moving across parts of the central U.S. And really, as you move into Monday here, you kind of get this negative tilt trough that shows up on the European model, which can help enhance severe weather. But really, overall, the trough doesn't seem too impressive from the European model, despite having a strong low over parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, which that strong low pressure system will help make the winds a little bit stronger. At least 850 millibar wind wise, it can make those winds a little bit stronger with a stronger low pressure system. But the trough itself, at least from the European model standpoint, could be a negative tilt trough by Monday. On the other hand, the GFS model, as we kind of move into Sunday here, that system here takes more of a southern track across the desert southwest, but it still has a similar outcome to the European model. By 18Z on Tuesday, it shows a big negative tilt trough over parts of the Mississippi River Valley. So really, both models do suggest a negative tilt trough, but they kind of go into different ways. Both models are still a little bit different on the evolution of trough, so there's still some uncertainty with that. How about moisture? Dew points. Really, more severe weather-wise, really you need dew points around 60 and above for severe weather. So low 60s and sometimes upper 50s could still lead to severe weather. So this is Sunday. Overall moisture is not too impressive. Really mid to upper 50s widespread. But as we do get into the overnight hours, Some 60 dew points does try to show up over parts of Illinois, but by 18Z on Monday, okay, 60 dew points gets as far north as southern Indiana and maybe into parts of southern Ohio, which could be a favorable environment for severe weather. Also, around 60 dew points could indicate where some of your greatest instability could be found. So, really, when I look at the European model overall, it's not the best environment for severe weather. Dew points overall, kind of in most areas, are barely at the 60 mark. And I honestly would imagine instability values probably won't be too impressive either. GFS shows a different story. Starting off 21Z on Sunday, similar start here, maybe a little higher on dew points in some places. But where the system is a little bit slower, it has a little more time for moisture to get so far north. I mean, it's got 60 dew points up to Wisconsin, which I honestly have doubts with that. I think more realistically, I think 60 dew points could be as far north as maybe southern Iowa in this solution here. I think the GFS is too aggressive with that. But even with a slower system, that could help give moisture more time to advance farther to the north. So you can see here by Tuesday, which we begin to see that negative tilt trough take shape, some of those moisture or 60 dew points begin to back off, but you still have a pretty favorable environment for severe weather, really anywhere from parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and possibly as far north as the lower Ohio Valley region. But I still do believe the GFS is a little bit aggressive with the dew points, but I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see how the models trend when it comes to dew points, because really dew points could easily change over the next several days. There could even be a windshield wiper effect. It's aggressive, then it backs off, goes up, goes down. That's a windshield wiper effect. Uh, so yeah, there's still some uncertainty with it, but let's check out the GFS ensembles. Now, I can't really show you guys. Well, actually, I probably can on Pivotal Weather. But to kind of give you guys a little better idea on the uncertainty of this storm system, this is the mean 500 millibar winds from the 18Z GFS ensembles. And you can see here, it's not a very impressive trough, but you can kind of still see here where your trough is located. Basically, your trough is located kind of like in this area right in here with some stronger 500 millibar winds over parts of the Great Lakes in the Midwest. If I were to show you guys kind of in a spaghetti plot, you can see here the models are a little bit different here. Or I could show you guys the ensemble. So this is not necessarily a mean. This is from each individual member. You can see here at the same time, 18Z Monday, almost every ensemble member I see here is different. So overall, there's still a lot of uncertainty here on the evolution of the system. And really, in reality, we don't know a whole lot about the system just yet. Maybe if we get within 5 days, we should be able to have a better idea at that point. But we are 1 week away from this system. But it is definitely something to watch it, because a storm system like this, especially like what the GFS models suggest, there could definitely be some severe weather potential out of the system. And there's also a chance, if the storm system is strong enough, it could bring some snow on the backside of the system. So it's definitely something we're going to keep an eye on over the next several days. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, put a comment section down below. Or if you guys have questions, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye and have a good day.